Today's workout is a Diastasis Recti safe HIIT workout. This workout is postpartum safe interval training without compromising your core healing from diastasis recti. These exercises are both safe and will promote effective core engagement for a proper recovery. All you need is a mat. Let's get started. Today's workout is a Diastasis Recti safe HIIT workout. So we're gonna do interval training, but keep it safe if you have diastasis recti or have recently healed and just wanna make sure you're being cautious not to reopen that gap. We're gonna get started with our first exercise, feet just outside your hips. We're gonna take those arms up, fingers at temples. We're gonna squat and then lift and twist toward that knee. We're gonna do it again on the other side. So let's work here for 45 seconds, squatting, hips back and down. And if you need a warm up, I have one on my playlist, but we're gonna get right to work here. We'll do each exercise twice and one on each side if we're doing a unilateral movement, so you'll really get the hang of it. So I want you to squat, pushing that weight back into your hips. So majority of weight is in your heels. And then as you lift and twist, make sure you're keeping that chest up and slicing that elbow across, bringing the knee up to meet the elbow as high as you can. You don't have to touch, but just bringing it up so you get that really nice twist and rotation through the obliques, getting those legs and the core. Let's rest. We're gonna move on to the floor carefully into a side forearm plank. You want your elbow under your shoulder in that bottom arm. The top leg is straight, the bottom leg can be bent or straight. I'll show you both options, and we're gonna reach up, lift the hip, bracing the core, pulling that belly button in toward the spine, engaging through the pelvic floor, reaching and then lifting through that bottom hip. So this is level one, the easiest and simplest version. If you want to advance this move, you can take that bottom leg, extend it out. If you want to go even a level further, you can take the legs, stack them. But I want you on the sides of those feet. I want you to make sure your elbow and your top wrist are in a straight line. So you're keeping that proper alignment, keeping that belly button pulled in, and you're not twisting. You're keeping everything stacked. You're lifting through that bottom hip so everything is really engaged and strong. We're gonna come down and repeat that set. So back on your feet carefully. We're gonna come back to that squat and twist. So again, feet just a little wider than hips. We want those shoulders back and down when the arms come up. Good posture here. And let's begin. We squat and then twist. So, second round, what can you do differently, or what can you optimize to make this move more effective for you? Maybe that's a little lower in your squat. You could go about parallel to the floor if you can get there. Maybe you bring that knee up a little higher. I know for me, it's kind of hard with my tight hip flexors to get that leg up. So if you struggle with that, no worries, just take it at your own pace. Remember, we do timed intervals always because you can work at your own pace, at your fitness level, and get a good workout no matter where you're at. Couple more, we're almost there. And rest. We're gonna move back to the floor, other side this time for that side plank. So remember your options. You can extend or bend the bottom leg, pressing through the forearm, pulling that shoulder back, stacked through the hip, elbow, and rise. We're gonna pull that belly button in. Now, if you're wondering, how do I engage my core here? I would reference to my core videos. I have a whole postpartum ab program that focuses on core engagement, as well as a C-section recovery plan and multiple ab workouts. So really pay attention to that core engagement here. And I always say belly button pulled in toward the spine so you're engaged your TVA. So you should feel wrapped. Those muscles run across, so you should feel really tight, kind of like a corset around your waist. And you should feel those obliques working here as well, and those glutes. So you're lifted here, wrapped here, strong through the shoulders, but not really excessively feeling it in your shoulder. If that's the case, I want you to try to pull that shoulder away from your ear. Okay, we're done with that set. Now we're moving on to a lunge with a front kick. So I'll show you from the side here. We're gonna take those feet about hip width apart. We're gonna take the front leg back into a lunge position, and then we're gonna kick it forward. Let's repeat that. Down and kick. You can see I'm just running my arms here. You can do whatever's comfortable with your hands, but I want you to pay attention to the legs here. So knees go to 90 degrees in that lunge. The front knee is over the ankle, the back knee is going almost to the floor, and then when I'm kicking, I'm going about hip height. You can kick lower. It's not really about the kick. It's just adding a little balance challenge for that front glute. So when you're here, you're using that glute and that front leg to stabilize. That's what the kick is about. But if you need to, come in and tap it. You don't have to do the kick. Couple more here. Really get that front leg parallel to the ground if you can. And rest. All right, moving to the floor. Glute bridge with a pulse. So come on down, feet close to your butt. We're gonna drive those hips up and pulse it 45 seconds. Keeping that burn in the glutes, weight in the heels, let's go. So think about that pelvic floor right here. It's like you're trying to pick up a blueberry, feeling that pelvic floor engage, belly button pulled in towards spine at the top. And that doesn't mean you're sucking in and excessively arching the back. We don't wanna do this. We don't wanna really protrude those ribs out. We wanna keep the core wrapped and engaged properly. Again, like you've got that corset around your waist. And then little pulse at the top, digging in through those heels so the glutes are activated. Couple more here. Rest. All right, carefully coming up. We're gonna repeat on the other side now with that lunge and the kick. So this time, back leg is gonna go back, and then same leg is gonna kick forward. So let's do it. Down, kick. And again, it's all about that stability through your glute, through your core as well. Takes core control. Again, if you're struggling, just tap the foot. You can shorten that range in the lunge. You don't have to go all the way to 90 degrees, but if you can, I'd rather you move slow and really hit that full range, 90 degrees at the knees, than speed up and get kind of a half lunge. It is HIIT, but we're also working those big muscle groups, which is what I love to do in HIIT because you get the heart rate up, but you also build lean and strong muscle at the same time. You can have the best of both worlds. You just gotta do it right. And rest. Okay, moving on to the back for that second round of the glute bridge with the pulse. Feet close to those hips, dig in through the heels, core is wrapped, TVA is engaged, and we pulse. So you notice I'm alternating movements, standing with movements on the floor, and that's intentional because during these movements, you're still working hard. Like you can feel your muscles working, your breath is you're still getting that post-exercise oxygen consumption, but we're letting the heart rate drop by coming down. So that way we can safely do that interval training, but we're not spiking the heart rate super, super high. And of course you control your heart rate as well by how fast you're working. So pay attention to that. I like to use heart rate monitors, but really it's about can you talk through the exercise? And I want you to still be able to talk through these exercises. Maybe you're a little bit breathless like me. Stop. But we can still talk. All right, coming up, lateral lunges. We're gonna go to the right, then the left with a little knee drive. So feet just under your hips, we're gonna take a big step out and then drive that knee up. Here we go. So step out, then drive the knee up. Out and up. So as you step out, your feet are pointed straight ahead. You're pushing into that glute. Toes are slightly on the ground, but we really wanna put that pressure through the heels. Drive up right here, engage that glute. Use your abs to pull that knee up into a crunch. Lots of components here. Again, I'd rather you go deeper, rather you take it slow and get in just a few good ones than go fast and kind of just halfway do them, you know? Chest stays up. Even as you hinge forward from the hips, your shoulders should be back and down, core is engaged. That's so important for diastasis recti recovery time, is to maintain that core engagement properly throughout exercise and everyday movements. It's not just about during core work. Okay, moving on to the floor. Side forearm planks with a leg lift. So bottom leg stays bent here. Top leg is straight. We're gonna lift up into that plank and we're gonna lift and lower the leg. So that bottom leg is gonna stay down. We're just lifting and lowering the leg, my foot's just relaxed here. You don't have to worry about flexing or pointing. I want you to think strong and stable in that side plank first. You've already done that. So now we're adding the movement of the leg. Can you keep your hip at that same height, that same level, while adding that movement? And when you're lifting and lowering the leg, it's really controlled. You're not going very high, about hip level, and then lightly touch down. It's not a flexibility thing, although if you're more flexible, it will be easier, but it's just about controlling, using that core and that glute tension. Release. Okay, we're gonna move back to that lunge, lateral lunge with a knee drive. So we're gonna do the opposite side now. And if you can talk through this workout, you're gonna get a little more cardio kick out of this. All right, here we go. Lunge. Ooh, did you hear that hip pop? Great stretch for those inner thighs. And something always pops, regardless of, you might not be able to hear it because my husband edits it out, but something always pops when I'm doing these. All right, remember, big step out, push the hips back. We really wanna activate those glutes and then activate that core as you pull it in. Again, we're always thinking about the core, and the more you know how to engage your core, the more second nature it's gonna feel. I know a lot of times it feels super complicated, like how should I be breathing? It will become easier the more you do it. So if you haven't done my postpartum ab program or any of my postpartum workout plans, I'd suggest that before these workouts. And rest. All right, moving back to the floor. Same thing, that side plank. Again, we want the elbow and the hip in alignment, bottom leg bent, top leg straight. Deep breath to engage the core, pull that belly in, lift, and leg lifts. Yeah, my husband edits my videos. He's great at it. And sometimes he has to edit out crying babies. Crying toddler and a crying baby. Bless him. And then he has to edit out stuff when I do something dumb and mess up. Anyway, we're keeping that core tight. We're keeping that hip lifted. Remember, light tap on the floor. The leg is moving with control. You don't even have to tap it. You can just let it hover for an extra little challenge. But don't drop that hip. If it starts sagging, you stop, you reset, you get back in it. 5 seconds, you're almost there. Time. Okay, moving on to our final circuit. It's a ball slam to start, so feet just a little wider than your hips. We're gonna take our ball, take it overhead, slam it down and squat, so it's full body here. Shoulders, core, legs, let's go. Squat, throw it down. If you have a real resistance ball, you are welcome to use it. But again, with Diastasis Recti, we're still healing. We wanna keep those weights, anything we take overhead, we wanna keep it lighter to moderate until we can really effectively manage that inner abdominal pressure. So just be cautious of that. So I'm thrusting my hips down and back into that squat. Really get into it. I mean, even if you're not using weighted ball, act like you are. Slam it down. I love this exercise because I can think about something I'm frustrated at, something I'm frustrated by, someone I'm frustrated at. Won't name names, but you could think of someone, right? Rest. All right, we're gonna move on to our belly this time for a prone flutter kick. Now, if you've recently had a C-section, make sure your incision is healed before this exercise, okay? So come onto your belly. We're gonna rest our head on our hands, legs and thighs off the floor, and we're gonna flutter kick those legs. So do you see I'm not resting my head, but I want you to just rest your head on your hands. I'm just looking at you so I can coach. So what I want you to do is keep those thighs off the floor. Legs are straight, straight. Toes are pointed. Just little kicks, little kicks. Try to keep those thighs off the floor. Do you feel like when you lift those thighs, where does that work go? Your glutes, your back. Ouch. But it's so good for strengthening your core to do posterior chain work. So, so, so important. And then just relax that upper body. It's hard not to tense things, but try your best not to tense. Rest. Whew. That may have been my least favorite one so far. I made this up too. Okay, but it's good stuff. Back to that ball slam. Are you ready? We've added weight to that ball this round. Let's do it. Slam it down. Either you've added weight or you've thought about something that's making you irritated right now. I can hear my daughter crying upstairs. She's with my husband, but you know, that's triggering if you're a new mom with a new baby. Every time you hear that cry, you're triggered. So for me, exercise as a release helps me regulate when I have to regulate everybody else. We're almost there, 15 seconds left. Really sitting into those hips, using the shoulders, the core, the legs. Love full body stuff, that's why I love HIIT. And rest. All right, this is how we finish it with those prone flutter kicks. Come on down. Again, feet can be together or about hip width apart, no big deal. Rest that head on your hands and then lift those legs, squeeze, kick. Woo. So even though we're letting that heart rate drop, you can still feel your muscles are working super hard. And that's the great thing about HIIT is it doesn't mean your heart rate has to be so high and through the roof. You don't have to be breathless, although you can be. But to get the benefits, you just have to switch up your training, doing different muscle groups, full body, and then more isolation exercises like this where we're working the posterior chain. We're almost there, team. I'm with you. Let's finish this in 3, 2, 1, done. Oh, thank goodness. And that's it, 15 minutes, full body HIIT. I hope you feel great. I know I feel much better after I get a good workout in mentally and physically. So I'm gonna have a whole series of these Diastasis Recti Safe workouts, and if you're looking for a good ab program, ab specific program to couple with these workouts, check out my postpartum ab program that I mentioned previously and my Diastasis Recti repair plan. Both are gonna help you continue to work on healing and maintaining a strong functional core postpartum. So I'll see you next time. Hope you enjoyed it.